My family disowned me 15 years ago. Complete no contact. Now all at once they want back in my life and are stalking me. I finally confronted them. I don't know if this goes, hey. I just needed to get it out. I confronted them today and I can't stop crying or shaking. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me right now. I'm finally calming down a little to get this done. So I, 36 male, got into some trouble 15 years ago. I take all the responsibility for this, and even to this day I carry all the shame, guilt, and embarrassment for it. Also, this might come up. This is not cultural or religion. It's just shame to the family name. The situation when I was 19, my ID was stolen and being used in another state and created a situation where my driver's license was suspended nationwide. Somehow any and all notifications from the other state never made it to me. I started doing all the necessary things I needed to do to try and fix the problem. I, however, had a couple of tickets in my current state that I needed to pay but couldn't because I needed to pay my rent and keep my apartment. Also, at the time, my full-time job was having problems and was borderline shutting down. So to try and make ends meet, I was doing a lot of freelance work as well. Again, my fault. I knew the company was in trouble, but I was still holding out hope that things would get better. I was hoping that a couple more freelance jobs and I would be able to finally pay the tickets. This was never the case, and the long story short of it, I was arrested and spent 2 weeks in jail. Not ideal, but I guess in the long run it worked out for the best by clearing the tickets in my home state. However, my family felt otherwise, and I was completely disowned because of this. I lost everything and everyone. The only reason I still had my apartment was because I had enough to cover the rent and the freelance work kept up. It took another 6 months, but I was finally able to get the other state to release my driver's license. I decided that since my family hated me, I didn't need them. So a year later, I changed my last name, phone number, and email. My social media is locked down so tight you would think I was hiding national security secrets. I was able to finish college and get settled into my career, and at this point, I'm happier than I have ever been. Into current time, and 2 weeks ago, there was a knock on my door, and it was my mom and dad. Again, it had been 15 years, and I hadn't spoken to them not one word. The only thing I could get out of my mouth was, "How did you find me, and what are you doing here?" My mom's response was $5,000 to a PI. Finally, a search of Facebook with just your first name found you, and the PI confirmed it was you. I responded, "You didn't answer my second question. What are you doing here?" My mom again. "It's been 15 years. Looking at where you are, it seems you have learned your lesson and you are succeeding. You've missed out on a lot of things." I ended with, "Yes, I have learned my lesson. One of them is don't think anyone will ever help you or be understanding, even your family. And yes, I did succeed, and I did it entirely without you. Please leave and don't ever come back." Shut the door in their face, locked it, checked the back door, and closed all the curtains. I'm guessing they hung around for another 15 minutes, knocking, demanding to be let in. I went back to bed, turned the fan on high, and went back to sleep. I did some research, and I have missed out on a lot. I have nieces and nephews, brothers and sisters-in-laws. But the truth is, I don't know any of them, and I don't think I need to. I live a very quiet life. I can count on two hands how many friends I actually have. A friend said I may have taken it too far, that I should have given them a chance, and if I didn't like what they had to say, then I could have told them to go away. I was hoping that this was going to be the end of it, but not they have taken to stalking me. I'll be completely honest. They are harmless, but just a real pain in the ass, and also I have been F-king with them and having some fun with the help of a friend. He now calls them fleas and will check on me asking if I have fleas or not. It's kind of funny. If I say yes, then it's game on. The first night he came over and we walked downtown to a really expensive restaurant that I knew they were never going to go to. Another night we went to the porn store. That was the best one. This past week, the way my days off fell, I had a 5-day stretch, so I decided to go to the city for a few days. I'm walking distance to the Amtrak station, and they followed me. I kept my AirPods in the whole time, and I know they were trying to talk to me, but I ignored them the entire time. People on the platform even were telling me that they were talking to me, and I said that I know, but I don't want to deal with them. The train came, and I got on and left them to watch. I loved it. It got to the point I finally had to acknowledge them. They weren't going to go away, so we met at the park across from my apartment. I didn't hold anything back. I told them this was the one and only time I was going to talk to them. I took a page from the Matlock series and told them I was their judge. I was their jury. Thank you, Olympia Lawrence. I then told them that as far as I was concerned, they were guilty of anything and everything, and all I was doing was hearing what they had to say before I walked away from them. I asked them that why now, after 15 years, they are demanding to be back in my life and why they made the decisions they did to disown me. They told me that I ruined the family name and that the shame I brought to the family was horrible and that this was the only way to make it right was to get rid of me. They said that recently my name has been coming up in conversation and that the family has grown with a lot of new people. That brother and sister-in-law are asking questions about who is Brinley. That I have a niece who they think I would love and get along with, and the same for a nephew who was born last year, and now should be the time to fix things. They said that looking at my apartment and the life I had, that I must have learned my lesson about being a better person and managing my life better. I finally cut them off and told them that I couldn't stand to hear anymore. I was at the point I could hear my heart beating in my ears. I told them that I did everything completely by myself. Nobody from that life exists anymore. Not one person. That they just need to tell everyone the truth, that I was in jail for 2 weeks, and because of this the decision was made to get rid of me. I told them that I did it all on my own, and that my one cousin Jean, who is only a cousin by marriage, was the one who was there for me, hence why I took her last name. I told them that to this day I'm doing everything on my own and rely on nobody and don't need or want them in any way of my life. They made their decisions and I'm making mine. I told them this will be the last time we talk and that I would be going to see a lawyer to see if there was anything that could be done to keep them away from me, and that if they continued to follow me around or show up at my apartment, I would have them arrested for trespassing. And I went back home and again locked everything down, pulled the curtains, and have been crying since. Update. Many of you have been asking for an update. First and foremost, thank you all for your responses. I was overwhelmed. I read every single one. I just couldn't keep up to respond to them. I also worked some extra shifts and had some really nice overtime, which right now comes in handy. Please just know I was not ignoring you. I just couldn't keep up. This isn't the update that many of you were most likely hoping for. I haven't not heard from my family since I confronted them. I'm hoping that it's all done and over, but at the same time I'm thinking they are trying something else. I wanted to address some other things. Many are saying they are out for money or body parts. That they see I'm successful and such. I can't see this being the case. I truly don't think it's money. If they were able to drop $5,000 for a PI, then I can't see them hurting financially. My dad worked as a ORD for his entire career and made good money. My mom worked for a global corporation as a historical document manager. I didn't ask, but I'm thinking that they might even still be working. Others said maybe they need body parts. I can't see this being the case either because all of these would have been mentioned the first or the last time we talked. People have mentioned they see me successful and want in on it and take the credit, saying that they are responsible for that and how they treated me. I'm successful in my own way. My education is in healthcare management and I work as a unit secretary. I've been here for a while and I truly love my job. I'm at the top of my pay scale and that's okay. I have made a life for myself. Yes, I do have some money stashed away. I live below my means to do what I have done. I'm single, no kids, so it has allowed me to save money. And now on with the update. This is a long update because it's part of a conversation I had with my cousin. I have not heard from any of them since the last meet where I confronted them. I'm hoping that they are just gone at this point. I truly don't want anything to do with ANY of them. I don't care that I have nieces or nephews or that I have new brother and sister-in-laws. I would have to know my sister and brother and my parents to know all these new people. And frankly, all of them are strangers. And it just brings up a lot of bad emotions. My cousin Jean is the only person who I have anything to do with, and she has been my rock. I can't begin to thank her enough for all she has done. She has been on vacation for a few weeks, so she doesn't know much of what happened. She got back and came over the other night. She showed up with wine, pizza, and cheesecake. God, I love that woman. I opened the door and was greeted with, "The wise woman has arrived and has brought the makings of a great evening." I started crying to her response. However, it looks like I should have arrived a few days ago. She set everything on the counter and just hugged me to get me calmed down. Finally, as she opened the wine and fixed up dinner, I told her everything. At the end, she got a vindictive smile on her face and was like, "We needed to talk. It's time for some family secrets to be told." First, she started with telling me that regardless of what others had said, what happened wasn't my fault. I was stuck in the perfect storm which just blew up. She told me she saw my folder that had all of the work I had done to fix the problem, but it just didn't go fast enough. She reminded me that I didn't kill anyone, I didn't deal drugs or anything like that. I was stuck in a situation that didn't get fixed fast enough. She went on to tell me that it was no surprise that when I did the name change that I chose the one I did. Come to find out, it was the last name I was born under, which was my grandmother's, my mother's mother, last maiden name. Jean, don't let your parents fool you. They are not the pure pillars of community that they want you to believe. I have always known that their relationship was not the best. But when I was born, they were split up, and my mom was trying to hide me from my dad. My grandparents didn't like him, so it was decided to give me my grandmother's family name. She was getting more and more pissed off as she spoke. So let's talk about names, since they are so hell-bent of how you shame the family name. Your mother was the one who was born under the influential names. Her mother's family, the name you took, was pretty much owned two of the local towns in our county. Your grandfather's name owned a few businesses in a different town. Your father's family was never heard of. They were from a different state and moved here for work purposes. Your dad has been riding off of your mother's name and connections. Even to this day, your dad's family is pretty much a bunch of unknowns. On top of that, even if your grandparents were alive, they would have been completely behind you and wouldn't have bought into that whole bullshit of shaming the family name. The only time I ever saw her in a mood like this was when I was in college, and when she introduced herself to the class, she looked square at me and made it clear that she had no favorites. All of this has really made me look at my parents in a different way. And none of it's positive. It just reaffirms what I want even more, which is for them to just go away and never come back. To the small few of you saying this is fake, fan fiction and whatnot, go for it. Apparently all of you live in perfect worlds with perfect families, and you most likely say the same thing to every post you read. I couldn't give two shits, a flying F or rats, as what you think. I just need to get this out. Update. I don't really know if this counts as an update so much as it does as maybe just information that I have and was given. First, to answer a common question, am I going to seek out my siblings and their families? The answer is no, and that answer is set in stone. And the reason is relatively simple, at least to me. My siblings are 2 and 4 years younger than I am. So when everything happened, they were old enough to understand and know what was happening. I waited for 1.5 years before I changed my last name and all my contact information. They could have easily reached out to me, stood up our parents, and come to my defense. But they did not. So now, all this time later, I just don't feel the need to contact them or reconnect. To be completely honest, they are complete and total strangers, and I really don't see much of a reason to reconnect. People have been asking if I'm okay. The answer is yes. I'm feeling a lot better. This got too much in my head. But I realized that I was way overthinking this. Nothing really changes. I have not heard from any of them. My best friend took me to his lawyer, and I gave him everything and told him everything. He said that since reputation and family name are so important, that a simple cease and desist letter should do the job. That he was sure my family wouldn't want their reputation and story splashed across the local news. I also feel like because of my cousin, I in general feel better about things as well. Hell, if no fury like my cousin Jean pissed off. The other day, Jean called and said that we need to take a day and go do something. Get out of town and just forget about everything. I agreed with no thought to it. We always have a great time when we do an outing. This I got to her place and immediately went up to her kitchen for coffee to figure out what we were going to do. I got to the kitchen and she had a bunch of papers scattered out doing a bunch of research. I asked what she was working on. Her response: "Your parents piss me off. All I want to do is go over to their house and beat the hell out of both of them." She took a drink of her coffee. Let's talk names again. She started to research our lineage and realized some things. She told me that if there was still anything left of our last name, businesses and family money, she was almost 100% certain that I would be the sole heir to anything left if there was anything left. I asked how this was possible. That, if anything, it would be her husband's remaining siblings, and any children from those survivors. She said it was because of my grandmother that she was one of the originals. For lack of words, I was born under the last name, and even though my parents changed it later, I changed it back. She said it could be considered along the lines of succession. My grandmother was an original. All I could do was just kind of laugh. It's so funny how vested she is in this. I made the comment, it all sounds good and it would be nice. But that if her one sister-in-law had anything to say about it, she and her family would have taken it all by now. They already got the farm. Jean ended it with, I would have helped you get what was rightfully yours. I don't think she is completely accurate, but it's a fun thought. I laugh at how vested she is in this situation. I think it makes me that much more grateful to have her in my life. After that, we took off for the rest of the day and went shopping, had lunch, went and had manis and PDs done, and had dinner. But I'm good. I think we are good. I truly don't think I'll hear anything from my family. I think once they get the letter, it will all be done and over.